again, complicated history with Chris Lighty
Yeah.
himself. I want to double back on that. I know at one point you guys had a breakdown in your relationship. Did that stem around? What did that stem around? Because
I mean,
like
if we could be honest, you know, here's something else that I take into serious consideration. I try to be a very spiritual person in my life. I try as much as I can. I live in gratitude. I'm grateful for the good, the bad, the ugly, the amazing. I'm thankful for it all. But there's a history of the music business that all of us have to take into consideration. So if you believe in a higher power, which I do, if you believe in any kind of Buddha, Jesus, whatever you want to call him, Allah, there's a higher power there, right? So, of course, I'm Puerto Rican, so I grew up Catholic. So in heaven, before God created the earth, the devil's job was to play music. The devil's job was the harps and the violins and all the music in heaven, all the parties and the grand events. And when God cast the devil down, devil took all that with him. That's why they say the music business is the devil's playground. And with the devil comes a lot of demons. You got the 27 Club, Kurt Cobain, Janis Joplin, a lot of artists that died at 27.
Amy
Winehouse. So you've also got a lot of heated, you could blame it on social issues, you could blame it on economic issues, but there's a lot of the same urban influence in the music business that creates animosity and friction. But at that time, I was dealing with a lot of demons. And thank God, through his grace, I got through that. And through the help of my family, I got through that. And through the help of myself, I got through that. And in that time, my mind wasn't in the right place, so I wasn't understanding what was going on because there had been so much. You know, a friend of mine calls me Forrest Gump because my life is almost unbelievable. And he says to me, a third of what you went through would have destroyed the average person. But we're warriors, Prez. You know what I mean? We don't survive, we win. I remember one night we were at Bad Boy and Puff was reading for a film. And it was 3 o'clock in the morning, we had a marketing plan, and Puff says, everybody sit your ass in the office, I'm coming to see y'all. And he brought us a document, which was a speech from Vince Lombardi.
I remember.
And it said, winning is not a sometimes thing, it's an all the time thing. You don't do things right once in a while, you do them right all the time. Winning becomes a habit, but unfortunately, so does losing. I live that every day. You do what's right, even if you're on the side of what's right, you can never be wrong. So I look at that as a perspective. But at that time, my mind wasn't following these codes, these philosophies that I worked so hard to build. And that created a rift in my relationship with Chris, plus a couple of other outside influences that he had to deal with as well. I mean, Chris really taught me that family is really everything.
So it wasn't a specific deal or anything like that?
No, it wasn't a specific deal. It wasn't a straw that broke the camel's back. It was, you know, a long time coming from a lot of personal issues that I was dealing with at the time. A lot of things that he was dealing with at the time. I mean, you gotta understand, everybody wants to be the boss, but the boss eats last. Everybody wants to be there for the party. They don't want to be there for the work. You know, Chris put in the work. Chris and I were inseparable. Chris and I love that man. Yo, you know what? Everybody listening here right now, yes, I can say it as a grown-ass man about to be 50 years old. I love Chris Lighty. And I will always love Chris Lighty. And what a lot of people don't know about my relationship with Chris is after that breakup, at my 40th birthday party, I'll never forget, my beautiful wife, Lee Marie, decides to send an email blast out to everybody, invited them to this party that we did. And of course, Chris was on that list. And Chris showed up, and we just looked at each other. And Chris just said to me, yo, let's put Batman and Robin back together again. And I said, yo, let's do it, but this time I'm Batman. And we gave each other a pound. That's the photo I posted, me and Chris pounding each other. And we were working it out to get back together. And unfortunately, 2 months later, he passed. And my mom, who's a very, very connected person, spiritually said that was his soul making up for whatever it was between you two. Because it was almost like everything was forgotten right there in that second. Because we were the dynamic duo. Shout to Mona. Mona Scott was a therapist of mine in managing and putting that relationship together with Chris and I. But things did go bad. But everybody gets a second chance to make things right.
So let me ask you a very specific question then.
Mm-hmm.
You knew Chris in a way that most people didn't. I mean,
Well,
I
never.
knew Chris.
They did know.
Yeah, I knew Chris, but I didn't know him the way you knew him. You guys worked together. You were family. You fought just like brothers do.
Yep.
When you got the news that he passed, but more specifically that he took his own life.
We didn't know that then. And we still don't know that.
Here's my question to you. Do you believe that the person that you knew, the man that you knew, Chris Lighty, is he capable of that?
Daryl, Chris Lighty, baby Chris. No. I've seen that man go through war. I've been at side by side with that man in war. In the boardroom and in the street. No. The Chris Lighty I knew was a warrior. We're all warriors, man. He was a warrior. He was he was my brother, my best friend. Mike, Dave, the whole family. I felt just as close to him, even though I might not be blood, like they did. He gave them opportunities. Dave worked at Jive. Mike had a booking agency. Let me tell you something. Violator was the original 300, the original Rock Nation. Violator was a growth of Flavor Unit Management, which was a growth of Rush Management. You can see the growth in the transitions and all. Starting with Rush and Russell and Lior, then going to Flavor Unit with Shakim, then it's Violator. And, we had everybody at one time that mattered. We even managed Ja Rule at one time. Shout out to shout out to Ja. And then it became, you see the Rock Nations and you see 300s and applause to all their success. But Violator was something different. Chris had a vision. We had Gary Sheffield with us. We had Robinson Cano. We had sports going on at Violator. A lot of people don't know that. We had branding businesses. We had the Violator marketing group. We had, we did a deal for an artist. We controlled the marketing. But what we were doing was we planted the seeds for things that are taken for granted nowadays. Chris was not that guy. I'll never forget, I got the news. I was sitting in the barber chair. And I got a call. Huh? They found Chris dead in the Hudson River. What the fuck y'all talking about? Call Buster. Shout to Buster, man. Buster, man, I love Buster Rhymes, man. I know him since I was 17
Shout
years
to
old.
Buster.
Shout to
To me, Buster's, he's one of the truest artists, like Buster's.
Artists all the way. And you know what? I'll say he's one of my top 5. And we get into the top 5 list later on. But yes, he's one of my top 5, period. And the story.
Shout to Buster Rhymes.
Yes, sir. And I called Buster and all I heard was, James. I said, oh.
It's real.
I said, oh. And I sat in that chair and I slumped in the chair and it was almost like a wave of chills. I got chills saying it now, man. A wave of chills came over me. I was like, nah, this can't be true. And then I got the call from Ebro. Yo, we need you at Chris's house right now. So I ran to West Orange. I had no idea Chris was living in the Bronx, in a townhouse. And Flex is there, Q-Tip's there, and, at that time, Hip Hop Police was there, and, it still exists, but, at that time, it was a little easier relationship with them, because somebody was dead. And I never forget, man, like, I didn't want to believe it, man. Like, it's my brother, man, and we were getting back together. We were gonna put Batman and Robin back together. Like, why take him away now? Why end this now? And I'm gonna get really serious right now. Went to the funeral, the wake, and then went to the cemetery. And I'm there with my wife and Danielle, her friend. And it's time to say goodbye to the coffin. And nobody wants to move. Nobody wants to move. Nobody wants to say goodbye. And I'm talking about everybody was there. And Lee Marie, my wife, gives me a little. There's no man in this world worth his value in gold without an amazing diamond of a woman next to them. And that's my diamond. And Lee pushed me. And I went, and I'll never forget, he had a little Pittsburgh Steeler emblem. He loved the Steelers. He loved Lynn Swann and Franco Harris. He was a huge Steelers fan. There was a little Pittsburgh Steelers sign on the coffin. And I tapped and I said, bro, all is forgiven. I love you. And walked away. And then we had to walk down these stairs. And I needed a moment. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot in my career, a lot of great things, amazing things, blessings, and a lot of negativity too. So I needed a moment to compose myself. And I make a left. And I'm walking through a cemetery. All of a sudden, somebody hits me on my shoulder. Yo, B, it's your turn now. Don't fuck this up. It's your turn now. It was Chris. It was his spirit speaking to me. It was his moment for me and him to be alone, man. I don't know if a lot of people believe in that. I might sound crazy. Y'all might think I'm nuts. This will be a vignette in Vlad TV. James Cruz talks to Chris Lighty's ghost. But I believe in that. I believe in another realm. I believe in our ancestors protecting us. I believe in us not being able to see certain things that are right there in front of us. And I looked at him and I said, Chris, he says, don't fuck this up, B. And disappeared.
Yeah, let me ask you something.
But wait,
James.
Prez, before you go there.
Go ahead.
I ain't crazy, but I'm crazy. I walked back to my wife and Danielle. And Danielle says, yo, James, who are you talking to? What? What you mean, who was I talking to? Who were you talking to? I said, that was Chris. So, yes, Tiffany Lighty, Deja, little Chris, like, I still light my candles to him. I still put my glasses of water to him. I still pray to him because his soul, his spirit needs to be uplifted because there's still so much confusion in what truly happened. But what I do know, I'm going to answer your question one more time. Chris Lighty ain't taking his own life, man. He ain't doing that. Might have been a mistake. Might have been one in the chamber. Might have been, I don't know, maybe. But he was not doing that. That man's a warrior, continues to be a warrior, and is and fuck it, the best manager to ever do it. Name was Chris Lighty.